We are so lucky to live in America. That is the English translation of the words my parents always told me growing up. My parents are Vietnamese American immigrants. They came to this country to escape the corrupt government of their homeland during the Vietnam War. They risked their lives, leaving their homes and their families behind, taking boats and living in refugee camps just to have a better life in America. When they got to this new country, this better life they were looking for wasn't just handed to them, they had to work for it. With little to no English, a backpack of their belongings, and approximately $20 to their name, they somehow made it, building a life for themselves and for us, their children. Every day I am thankful. I am thankful for all that my parents have given up for me. I wake up every morning in my warm bed with a roof over my head. I pick out an outfit from my closet full of clothes. I head to my kitchen where the only thought is, what should I eat? And fill up my water bottle with clean drinking water. Then I head to school where I have access to education from a private institution. How could I not feel lucky to be living out the American dream? Well, turns out, it's not so much luck, but privilege. What about those who are homeless? Those who can't afford a new outfit every day of the week? Those who have to ask themselves not, what should I eat, but do I have enough food to eat? What about those who fall victim to the systemic racism, sexism, classism, and many other isms of the American government and society? While I am thankful for all that I am not thankful to live in a country where not enough help is given to those who are struggling to survive. America is not perfect. We cannot ignore these deeply rooted issues. Many Asian Americans may feel unaffected by these issues, leading to them not utilizing their voices for change. This comes from a place of privilege. It is a privilege to not feel the need to fight for your rights or for others. For other Asian Americans, it is not that they don't care about politics, but they are disadvantaged by a system that doesn't care about Asian Americans in politics. Between 1960 and 2010, the Asian American population increased from 1 million to 17 million. This number is projected to double by 2060. Asian Americans are the fastest growing racial group in the U.S. The number of eligible voters have grown from 5 million in 2000 to 11 million in 2020, a 139% increase. The growth of Asian Americans can be crucial in swing states such as Pennsylvania and Michigan. Despite this, Asian Americans are still the least politically engaged racial group in the country. In 2012, only 56% of eligible Asian American voters were registered to vote, compared to 59% of Hispanic voters, 73% of Black voters, and 73% of white voters. So why has Asian American voter turnout always been so low? Simply put, the American political system doesn't target Asian American voters. This is evident in the demographic contacted by political parties, campaigns, and other election-related organizations. Let's look at the recent 2020 presidential election. In the 2020 Asian American Voter Survey, 30% of Asian American voters reported being contacted by the Democratic Party in the past year, and 25% being contacted by the Republican Party. As many Asian Americans do not speak English as their native language, there is a language barrier to exercising their rights to vote. The low effort in informing non-English speakers about politics also does not help the situation. Many people were unaware of opportunities for registering to vote on the spot, deterring many potential voters from voting. Another obstacle was the lack of information on how to request a ballot in another language other than English, or even being aware that foreign language ballots were an option. Due to the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic, there was a record-breaking number of mail-in ballots for this election. From this brings up the issue of signatures. Some Asian Americans did not have a signature before coming to the U.S., especially if their native language uses characters rather than an alphabet. Mail-in ballots from Asian Americans had a high rejection rate, with the most common reason being a non-matching signature. Another explanation for the lack of political involvement of Asian Americans could be because partisan politics is a new concept for many immigrants. 74% of Asian Americans are foreign-born, compared to 16% of the general U.S. public. The unfamiliarity of the U.S. voting system can be a huge barrier in the participation in American politics. This may be especially true for immigrants who have political trauma from their country of origin, such as those who lived through the Cultural Revolution in China. Past experiences of Asian American immigrants may translate to fear in discussing politics. This lack of political conversation in Asian American communities discourages younger generations from speaking up. Typically, the political values of parents influence the political values of their children, meaning the lack of political participation of Asian American parents may be passed down to their children. However, oftentimes young Asian Americans begin their political activism in college through coursework and social movements. This provides an opportunity for children to instill their political values in their parents instead. For any racial minority, it can be scary to use your voice in a space filled with white voices. But let's not forget those who fought before us for us. We remember Grace Lee Boggs, Yuri Kochiyama, the Third Liberation Front strikes of 1968, and many more. Now it's our turn to continue the fight.
I vote because I want to be represented.
I voted because I want affordable health care.
I vote to support and speak up for our disenfranchised communities.
I think voting, especially as an Asian American, is important because it's a very good way for us as a minority to get our voices heard, to make changes in our government and our society.
I vote because I want to live in a world where human rights are a privilege. Every day, the disparities in America grow larger and larger, and nothing's going to change unless we use our voices to make that change.
Hi everyone, my name is Elaine, and I vote because with the power to choose what happens in this country, I believe that I am making America stronger as a single individual, and I like that I'm able to make this positive impact.
I think this time it's really important for Asian Americans along with other minority groups to join together and vote, as a lot of what we say really matters, and we can really join together and make the community more progressive as we continue to deal with onwards racism and xenophobia.
I personally voted because I think it's important for everybody to voice their own opinions and personal beliefs when given the opportunity to do so. And I feel like if you're given the opportunity to make a change or make a difference for the better, even if it doesn't affect you personally, you should take advantage of that, because potentially it could help somebody else.
We are so lucky to live in America, to live in a country where we have the ability to vote for a change, to hold our country accountable, to have the power to make a difference. Thank you, Mom and Dad, for giving me the opportunity to use my voice. We are so lucky to live in America.